What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunched Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Eddie Hearn, Kell Brook, and Amir Khan. Get this. Eddie Hearn brands Amir Khan versus Kell Brook a money grab and reveals that he probably won't watch the domestic dust-up. The former light welterweight and welterweight champions will collide in a long overdue domestic dust-up in Manchester, England, Saturday night. And the bitter rivals, Amir Khan and Kell Brook, will clash, of course. And Khan and Brook, both 35, are shadows of the fighters who brought world titles back to Bolton and Sheffield in 2009 and 2014, respectfully. And Hearn, their former promoter, can't help but to think they're throwing down for the sake of one final payday. And He said, I've been involved in a money grab, but Khan Brook is a money grab. It's just the two of them going, let's not be silly. This is a massive money fight for both of them. Let's make the fight, mate. Okay? But they are both 50% the fighters they once were, but it's still going to be a 50-50 fight. I still look at Kell, and it looks like he's training hard. Khan doesn't look particularly sharp or great, but he's going to give it his everything. And Hearn tried to make the Battle of Britain when the bitter rivals were in Manchester stable, but was unable to hash out a deal. But he doesn't plan to part with his hard-earned cash to watch the grudge match. He said, I'm interested to know who wins. Will I sit down and watch it? Probably not. Of course, I want to know what happens. It's intriguing now. Both guys are finished. You just don't know what's going to happen. Let me stop right there. First off, I think Amir Khan, I think Kell Brook, it is a well overdue fight. It is like, and you have to blame Amir Khan, okay? Amir Khan, I had a real bad problem with him because of his ego, okay? He thought that he was so much better than his rival. And when you start thinking you're better than your rival, that's when your ego starts to build and take off flight. And that's what happened to Kell Brook. Okay, Kell Brook got knocked out by stopped by Danny Garcia, knocked out cold by Canelo Alvarez. He quit against Terrence Crawford, and now he's back home. But I think it's an humbling experience. Do I agree with the money grab? Yeah. But did Khan want this fight? No. Khan did not want this fight. He didn't want this fight for the sake of not boosting his rival up. You know, that's just like, it's kind of almost like Floyd, Money Mayweather was to Manny Pacquiao. Floyd got so sick of people asking him about Manny Pacquiao that he thought the only reason people liked Manny Pacquiao is because his name was attached to it. But you know that wasn't the truth, okay? The only problem is that those guys were just much better fighters. They were great fighters. Floyd, and Manny, they were great fighters, okay? And I think with Kell Brook and Amir Khan, Kell Brook wanted to be great, but he wasn't. He was just a good fighter, you know, an above-average fighter at one point. Now he's just another fighter that's past his prime. Whereas Kell Brook, he has had his challenges as well. He's fought Gennady Golovkin. He's fought Terrence Crawford also. And he has took on the undefeated two-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Errol "The Truth" Spence. So they've both had their ups and downs. They've both climbed to the level that they can go upon. So I don't see that there's a big difference between the two. Who had the better paydays? Of course, Amir Khan, because he has, you know, a following in two different countries. So, you know, Pakistan, he's big in Pakistan and Dubai and places like that. And then he's British. So I think that's what gave him a head, okay? Not just because he was just, this dynamic fighter. He had great expectations, but really, you know, we seen what his expectations were in his career. So, but Eddie Hearn saying that he's not going to watch the fight, I don't think that that's appropriate. Because I think if you want to know who wins, sit down and watch the fight. Don't worry about the fight. Oh, it took long, a long time to happen. Yes, it did. Could we have saw a better fight before? Yes, it has. But hey, better late than never, right? What do you think about all the legendary league stuff? Yeah, we want to see that. Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. We want to see these things. Now, I want to see Oscar De La Hoya take on Floyd Mayweather again. Why not? They ain't dead. Oscar had his battles with his own inner demons, respectfully, but Floyd, been fighting celebrities since 17, since he retired. So, it is what it is, man. I think he should show support for that fight being a money grab. It just might be a fight that you don't want to miss. Damn well, because see, if he keeps hearing about it, he's going to watch it. But to say I won't watch it, I won't sit down and pay a ticket, that's just showing non-support. And that's not good coming from a promoter. Okay? But it could be like one of those play it to the bone type of fights. Whereas, you had Antonio Banderas and Woody Harrelson, and they beat the crap out of each other for two fighters that were past their prime, which was a very good movie, very underrated movie. So that could be the result, like that film, because you do have some good fights. Look at Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward. Both of those guys were past their prime. Both of those guys. They've took their losses. They've went through the things that they went through. And Mickey Ward was making a name for himself. And Arturo Gatti, kind of like Amir Khan is right now, was making a name for himself, which he was the much sought after boxer because he had a bigger fan base of Montreal, Canada, and then New Jersey and stuff like that. So, it's perfect. But then again, they produced some of the best fights that we ever seen. Okay? The kind of fights that give you chill bumps when you talk about it. If you love boxing, the sport that I love that I hate so much. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Eddie Hearn saying that this is a money grab and I probably won't watch the fight. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunched. Peace.